Bellshill, Bellshill, what the hell are you doing here? In Bellshill, Bellshill, what the hell are you doing here? I'm reliving my youth in Bellshill. A recurring theme on the Zambo TV is Glasgow's industrial might, its engineering heritage. I don't talk enough about Lanarkshire, the steel output of towns like Motherwell, Coatbridge, Airdrie were phenomenal. Now, why am I showing you this? Because it interests me. Right, so basically I think what's happened is at some point someone, there we go, someone has built a football park up here. When I was a kid, the showmen used to bring their funfair rides up onto this and set them up here. I can remember the Gardner diesel generators, the smell of the diesel candy floss, tobacco smoke. Everybody smoked back then. So they used to set funfairs up here, and as kids we would come up and play on the funfair. And we used to come up on this. That was the school I went to. That was the school my best friend went to. And what? And I honestly can't understand why we segregate kids in Scotland religiously into different schools. But anyway. Getting back to Lanarkshire's engineering past. The thing I am standing on, we called it a Bing Crosby, B-I-N-G. I don't know how big a pyramid is, but this thing is absolutely massive. When I was a kid, I can't remember there being trees here. So it's called a coal bin, and what it is as they were mining for coal, this is the stuff they didn't want. Now again, that's a football pitch in there. We've just walked up this hill. There's the edge of it over there. It goes all the way round. If memory serves me right, this whole area used to be a railway siding before the houses were built. Over there is the Strathclyde Park, and there were more of these coal bins back then when I was a kid. Some of them have been moved to build houses and stuff. But it gives you an idea of the level of industry, and it was steam engines and steam shovels and men with literally hand tools going down into the earth, and they moved all this. They moved a lot of it to get to the coal that they wanted to get. So never forget what our forefathers did, our foremothers. And you've got to ask yourself as well, why are we not still doing it? So is this interesting for anyone? I don't know. Reminiscing about my childhood. But all the time I've been walking. I've been walking on the tailings, stuff they didn't want to get to the coal. And it's a phenomenally large structure. Central Scotland is full of things like this. Now the question is, or one of the questions is, a beautiful day as well, eh? One of the questions is, with the price of exceptionally expensive energy and being held over the counter by Middle Eastern and American and British, English powers, we now have shockingly high energy prices. So the question is, hope the wind's not blowing the mic and the camera too much. Why don't we open the coal mines back up, eh? There's enough coal in Scotland to power the UK for about 500 years. Yet, between the price of energy and food, we are being crippled. So it just doesn't make any sense to me. And as far as green credentials go, I am actually fairly green. However, Australia, Canada, the United States and Russia all produce about 500 million tonnes of coal per year. If you actually wanted to fight Russia, we'd need cheap energy, and a good way of getting it would be to get coal. Not that I want to fight Russia, I certainly don't. I want to get rid of America and get better economy. Have a much better relationship with Russia. They're European, aren't they? And we've got all the assets and resources we need. If we hadn't let the Americans pull us into a war with them, we'd still have cheap energy. We don't have that anymore. So Russia, Canada, Australia, America all produce about 500 million tonnes of coal per year. I think China is about 4.5 billion tonnes. Let's walk down it and see if we get an idea of how big it is. I think China is about 4.5 billion tonnes of coal per year. So the idea that in Scotland, when we have such a remarkable resource, that we shouldn't be utilising it for the benefit of our people just seems absolutely crazy to me. Anything else to say about that? Scotland's got oil and gas and renewable electricity. Why are our bills so high? That doesn't make sense to me either. It makes no sense. The yellow van, I love it. I also believe mine was quite a well-paid job before Thatcher shut it down. So good, well-paid jobs, getting locally sourced energy to your house is quite cheap. And that is what we just walked out. So again, mammoth structure in Bellshill, and this is the stuff they didn't want. This is the stuff they didn't want. This is the stuff they had to dig up to get to the stuff that they wanted. And to the best of my knowledge, it's still there. So I don't even know where the coal mine was. But to be able to dig that amount of stuff up, it's insane, isn't it? If I was a passenger in a car or a van, I would drive round about it. I might even do that, to give you an idea how big it is. As I said, I don't know how big a pyramid is, but it goes along for maybe 400 yards that side. There it's maybe, 30 metres high. Anyway. To have an industrial economy, you need cheap energy. We theoretically should have lots of it, we don't. Just shocking. And if the past few months or weeks have shown us anything, it's that basing your economy in a housing bubble, on selling insurance, on financial assets, cappuccino service industries, there's a place for it. But when push comes to shove and you need oil and gas, you either got it or you ain't got it. Scotland has got it, it's all been stolen. We should be rioting in the streets, shouldn't we? The entire sector should be nationalised, in my very humble opinion. Somebody is making a killing out of Scotland's natural resources, and it's not other people. So, Bellshill coal mine. I'll do another video, drive around about it and give you an idea how big it is. Used to play up there as a kid. There's 1,000 of them all over Scotland, isn't there? Thank you all for watching, and let's do a part 2. Right, see you later.